and why. How it's eating away at our bone tissue, right? You can actually put bone with meat and Coke, and it'll eat it away. Emotional stressors. Money is a big stressor for people. Health is a big emotional stressor for people when they're sick. When you're sick, do you want to do anything? Do you feel joyous?
No.
Do you feel like going out and dancing? No. Not when you're sick, no. It's an emotional drain. And when most of us are in some level of chronic pain, chronic illness, where it's constant, we feel it all the time, it drains us. We can never be our optimum. We can never be our best. One of the things I used to say to my athletes is you never know how good you can be until you feel as good as you can feel. Right? And the reason I would say that is because they needed to know that it's possible. They're injured. They usually came to me injured. They weren't feeling good. Right? And they didn't think it was possible for them to get back to where they once were. Well, we shifted that. Here's some bosses. Anybody have a boss that's a stressor? You know, parents, kids, etc. Our food. Our food has a big effect on us. This is the dictionary, Macmillan Dictionary translation for what food is for. Is this the food that we're eating today?
No.
Any of it? Is any of the food that we get at normal grocery stores?
No.
Even our fruits and vegetables that have been sprayed, right? The soil has been so depleted of natural minerals and so forth that we just don't get what we need out of the soil. So our food is no longer repairing our tissues, no longer promoting our growth. It's actually deteriorating us more. The nutrition we think we might be getting, we're not. I think I pushed the wrong button. There we go. Types of hormones, I'll let you kind of read this, but basically we have fat-burning hormones and fat-storing hormones, right? Estrogen, insulin, cortisol. These are all fat-storing hormones. What triggers these hormones to be produced more? Your gallbladder, pancreas, your kidneys. If they're overtaxed and and having to filter all these other chemicals and so forth, those aren't going to be working properly. You're going to end up storing fat, regardless of how much you exercise, how much the calories in, calories out go. Kind of get an idea of that. Glucagon, adrenaline, thyroid hormones, testosterone, these are all fat-burning hormones. We want to increase them. If our adrenal glands or cortisol are going out, we don't sleep at night, which means that we're not producing enough human growth hormone or IGF, or thyroid hormones. Our adrenal glands are overtaxed, so we're not producing enough of that. A new life is possible, though. Can't hear him.
Spiritually, you want Ari.
Sorry.
Bringing it back.
I'm not used to the touch screen.
Ari.
There you go.
Hi, AJ Alley here for Ari Gronich. Let me tell you something. If you're considering doing anything to improve yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, you want Ari to be a part of that because he is the best at what he does. I've known him for a long time. He's worked on me, he's worked on my celebrity friends, I've had him out at events that I've done, and even at celebrity golf events. I've had celebrities who were supposed to come out to golf. All they wanted to do was lie on his table and get work done. And so I know from personal experience, I know the man is incredible, his work, that's incredible. If you want to take your life to a higher level, call Ari Gronich today. Don't wait, seriously.
So AJ is a film producer. He's doing a TV show now called Wellness 101 TV. Very amazing man. He's been a songwriter, producer for many years, and he ran a nonprofit that was dealing specifically with cancer prevention on a holistic level. And so I have been part of his program and on the board of his nonprofit for a long time. Here's an interesting thing. We can all kind of see this. What body style are you? So If you're an estrogen imbalance, larger hips, thighs, and buttocks, and this pooch right about here, that's an estrogen imbalance, okay? Adrenal glands, that's when your cortisol goes out of whack and your belly gets big, right? Get that belly fat. Thyroid condition is kind of an overall bulk. You can see, it's not a diagnosis necessarily, but it's a kind of generalized way of looking at what might be in or out of balance. Now this can be in all kinds of sizes. It's a shape thing. So you can be skinny and still have one of these shapes, right? And then of course, liver. So liver, most people think of as what happens when you call it beer belly, you drink too much, right? You get a beer belly. But really, what's causing that is your liver is swollen. And it's got a lot of fluid and toxins around it because it's trying to process all of that. That happens also with supplements that you might be taking that aren't processable or aren't digestible by your body. It can happen with all kinds of things when you get to see that. So what we do is we test you. We have a saying, well, let me just go through this first. So you're at your doctor's and you take a test and they tell you that your symptoms are normal, right? There's a reason for that. Say you're having your TSH testing, okay? Doctor's ranges, abnormally low, about 0.3, and abnormally high is about 5.7, okay? That's what the doctor's looking at. If you're in between there, they're going to tell you you're good to go, right? But these numbers, these averages, are based on 97% of the population and what's average between them. So do you think that 97% of the population is healthy? Probably not. So the numbers that your doctors are looking for are based on these numbers, based on what they consider to be an average of population, not necessarily what's optimal. The difference between how I would look at labs is we look at it in a functional range. What's optimizing? Okay, so an optimal range for this is about 1.8 to 3.0. You don't want it to be much higher, much lower. So we work to get that. But we have this saying, you don't guess, you test. Okay, the labs that we do include blood, which takes the snapshot of when you're there, right? That's only a single purpose. We have saliva, urine, and stool. Saliva, some of those, because the hormones are circadian, meaning they pulse. So they go up and down throughout the day. So we test every 4 hours. 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12. We take a test. This way we can get a full picture of what's going on. Probably more testing than you've ever had in your life is what we do. We do full metabolic testing, neurotransmitter testing, we do blood tests. Just our basic test has over 50 tests in it. We also test your gut, your GI tract, your stool for the proper flora, if you have any yeast in there, parasites, anything like that. Very, very, very thorough. And we do that because we don't want to guess at your health. We want to actually know what's going on. And I'll give you an example. Does anybody here testosterone imbalances like I've had? Or that they know of? This is a normal range, right? So this is what a doctor might say. Let's say you go in and your normal range, you're at about 250. The doctor says you're perfectly fine. Do you want your husband to have a 250 hormone testosterone range?